Welcome back to DevOps with Dami. In today's video, we'll explore how to use Terraform private remote modules stored in Azure DevOps repos. Using remote modules in Terraform helps organize your infrastructure, making it reusable, modular, and easier to manage across teams. Instead of defining all resources in a single Terraform configuration, you can store each module in a separate Azure DevOps repo and reference them in your root module. By the end of this video, you'll understand what Terraform remote modules are and why they are useful, how to store Terraform modules in the private Azure DevOps repos, how to reference and use these private modules in your root module, how to automate deployment using Azure DevOps pipelines. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay up to date on DevOps tutorials like this one. Before jumping into the demo, let's discuss Terraform remote modules and how they integrate with Azure DevOps repos. Terraform remote module allow you to reuse and manage infrastructure components efficiently. Instead of defining resources directly in your root module, you store them separately and call them from different Terraform configurations. Some of the key benefits are code reusability. This is when you define resources like, let's say, virtual machine, virtual network, storage accounts, and whatnot once and then reuse them across multiple projects. Another key benefit is version control. It helps you keep track of changes in Azure DevOps repo and manage different versions of your infrastructure modules. Security and access control. When you store your Terraform module privately in Azure DevOps repos, it ensures only authorized users can access them. Simplified maintenance. You update your modules independently without having to modify the entire Terraform project. In this hands-on demo, we're going to be looking at creating and storing Terraform modules in a separate Azure DevOps repos. We're going to reference these private modules in a Terraform root module. We're going to run the Terraform locally. We're going to set up authentication to access the private Azure DevOps repo. And then finally, we're going to build a pipeline to deploy Terraform from Azure DevOps. Let's dive into the demo real quick, guys. So guys, as you can see here, this is my Terraform project. Right now, we're currently in the deploy folder, which is actually my main folder, my root folder to be precise. And then speaking of the child modules, right, I also have them stored here locally. So we're going to be looking into that, and then we're going to look into the remote modules, right? First of all, we're going to be running the Terraform using the locally stored modules, right? So I'm just going to show us real quick. Copy path. All right, so guys, as you can see here, we're currently, like I earlier mentioned, we're currently in the deploy folder, which is literally the root module. Right, let's go back one step. As you can see, we have the deploy folder and we have the modules folder. Let's go into the modules folder. We can see different folders here. Let's run the tree command to see the structure of our module. Guys, can we see? So we've got app service, we've got a resource group, and then we've got storage account, all having literally the same file structure. So let's go back into our deploy folder. So guys, we're going to be running Terraform locally here using our locally stored modules just to test how this works. So at first, we're going to run Terraform init. So guys, as you can see, we were able to successfully initialize. Let's run a Terraform validate. All right, that was successful. Let's run a plan. Okay, so guys, as you can see here, plan was successful, which means when we run the Terraform apply, it will successfully deploy the infrastructure in Azure as expected, right? Which we're going to be looking into that later. So now that we can confirm that we're able to initialize and then download necessary modules and plugins from Azure, right? The next thing we're going to be looking at is using our remote module in running the Terraform init, validate, and plan, right? So just for the purpose of this course and to save time, prior to this recording of this video, I was able to, move these local modules into the remote repository. So I'm just going to show that to us real quick. Give me a second. All right, so this is my Azure DevOps platform here. I'm just going to go into this real quick. Repos. All right, so I'll go into our first module, which is the TF app service. This is what we have here. We have the main file here, which has the app service plan and the app service Terraform code here. We have the output as well. And then we have the variables.tf. We also have the TF resource group here. We literally have the same thing here as well. The output, the resource group, and then the variables. Also, we have the TF storage account repo here, which literally has the same thing here as well. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be running Terraform init from our local, referencing these remote modules here, right? So what we're going to do now is get the URL for each of these remote modules. So we're going to click clone here, and then we're going to grab the HTTPS URL here. Let's copy that. And then we replace the original source relative part here, and then we add that here. But first of all, we need to understand that we need to add git and then colon here. Now let's go for app service, repos, tf app service. Let's click on clone. Let's copy the URL for app service. Let's go back to VS Code. Let's place that here. Git colon this. Let's head back and copy the one for resource group. TF resource group. Click on clone. Copy that. Head back to VS Code. Replace that here. Git colon paste that. And then let's save that real quick. Okay, let's check if Terraform code is all good. Yeah, guys, I think we're all good. And then another thing we're gonna do real quick, let's remove this guy here. And then let's also remove this guy here. So we're gonna be having a fresh download from the repo. So let's run our Terraform init here. Guys, can we see this folder already got created? Okay, we're having an issue somewhere. Let's figure that out. Okay, guys, I think we have an error here. Let's remove that. Let's save it. Let's run initialize again. Guys, as you can see, the initialize was successful. Now let's do a plan. Okay, so we can see, guys, we're also able to successfully plan this. So that's pretty much how we run Terraform using our remote module, right? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna push our our parent module, our root module, into another repo where we're gonna be building a pipeline. In order for us to make this easier and faster for us, I took the liberty to write a pipeline for us, which I'm gonna be pasting into this soon. So first thing first, let's go and create a new repo for this purpose. So I'm going to click on this drop down, new repository, and then I'm going to name it remote module. Uncheck that, create. All right, so let's come back here. Let's run our git commands. Okay, guys, so we were able to successfully push that into our root repo. So let's check that real quick. Let's refresh this page. So guys, we have our Terraform codes here. Let's check that. Our main.tf, our provider code here. We have our Terraform pipeline here, which is empty. Right now, our main focus is our main file, our variables.tf file, and then our backend. I'm just gonna paste the code for the backend into this in a bit. So we also do not have our TF vars here. Ideally, we shouldn't even be having our TF vars here, right? I'm just gonna, comment that out here. I'm gonna comment that out in this section here. Let's commit that. Let's head back to VS Code. Let's pull that. Okay, let's push that now. All right, so now we've successfully pushed our TF vars file. Let's refresh that to confirm it's now in our Git repo. All right, guys, we can see our TF vars file is now showing. So first things first, we need to understand that in order for us to be able to run this pipeline, right, even after being, created, I mean the pipeline, right, when we run it, we're gonna have we're gonna experience some type of errors due to permissions and authentication, right? So I'm just gonna show us this real quick how it works, and then we'll head over to create SSH key in order for us to, authenticate successfully. So I'm going to copy the code for the pipeline here in a bit. Update. So let's head over to pipeline, new pipeline, repos, and then we're going to select the remote module repo here. Existing pipeline. Now let's select our pipeline file. So this is literally our pipeline here. We actually do not require to make any necessary changes here because we literally already have everything in place. Another thing we need to check is we need to check if these variable groups actually exist, right? If they do not exist, we're just gonna have to create them. I know this one, if it does not exist, we will definitely have to create it because that's where we're gonna be storing these variables for the known host, the SSH key, and the likes. So, and then this is the SSH installation task, right, which is going to be using for authentication. And then this is the Terraform installation task. This is the bash task that does the configuration of the Git for SSH. And then this is the task for Terraform initialize, and this is the task for Terraform plan. So right now we actually do not require the task for Terraform apply. Oh, you know what? I think I'm just going to add the task for Terraform apply. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna add that real quick. Apply. So I'm gonna confirm that if I'm missing anything here. Okay, guys, I think we're good. Yeah, so let's save that. And let's run it. Okay, so the job started running. Terraform installer was successful. Git config was successful. Now initialize failed. Let's see what's going on. So guys, can we see it says could not read password for this terminal prompts disable. So what we're going to do now is we're going to set up SSH key and import them into Azure DevOps library, right? So let's head back to our VS Code so we can do this real quick. So in order for us to do this, we're just going to run the SSH command here, SSH keygen. Okay, so we're going to name it remote module. All right, let's confirm that if it's being, created. Okay, so guys, as you can see here, our remote modules SSH key is actually saved in this current directory here. All right, so let's go ahead and check that real quick. This is our public key here, and this is our private key here, right? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna copy this public key and save it in our Azure DevOps account. When we click here, come to the top right corner, click on SSH public key. I'm just gonna delete this one. And then I'm going to add a new one here real quick. I'm going to paste that here. Click on add. So that is added successfully and it's showing status as active. The next thing we're going to do now is run another command for our known host. So let's head back to VS Code. We're just going to run SSH key scan, then ssh.dev.azure.com, which is supposed to be the host name of our Azure DevOps, right? So I'm going to hit enter now. And then we're going to copy this entire code here. Copy this entire thing. Let's head back to Azure DevOps. Let's click on pipeline, library. remote module. All right, let's replace what we have here for the non-host. And then SSH public key. Let's also replace this. For our public key, let's copy that. Let's replace that here. Let's save that. Let's go back to library, secure files. Let's remove this. Delete. Let's click on secure files, browse secure files. And then OneDrive. All right, this is our private key here. So I'm gonna upload that. All right, so this is successfully uploaded. Let's go back to our pipeline. Let's edit our pipeline just to be sure that we have everything in check. So guys, I can confirm that we have everything in check. So the known host here is what we got here, right? And then this other one, which is the SSH public key, that is what we have here. And then this other part here, which says SSH key secure file, which we have value as remote module. This is literally the private key which we have just uploaded here. Secure files here. So I would go ahead and then run the pipeline now. Ideally, we shouldn't be expecting any errors. So let's see that real quick. Okay, so guys, our pipeline job is running now. Let's wait for it to see if this is going to work this time. Okay, so our Terraform installer was successful. Git configuration was successful, but our init is still failing. So let's see what could be the cause here. So guys, from what I can see in the logs, right, we're still using the HTTPS URL. So at this point, right, in order for us to be able to authenticate, right, using our SSH key, which we have just recently configured, right, we need to switch this URL into our SSH URL. I mean, if our repo was a public repo, this would have been able to, this would have actually worked, this would have flown, right? But because it's a private repo, we need to change these parts into our SSH path. So just head back to our Azure repo main, and this is literally what we're going to be changing here. This, and this. So for the storage account, we're just going to replace with this. For the app service, we'll replace with this. And for the resource group, we'll replace with this. All right, let's save that real quick. And let's try to run the pipeline one more time. So guys, as you can see here, pipeline is currently running. It's literally past the stage where it was initially filling, which is the init stage. As you can see here, we're able to successfully initialize, downloading all the necessary dependencies from Azure. So that's it, guys. This is how you run your Terraform from your Azure DevOps pipeline, referencing your private remote modules in Azure DevOps repo. So far we were able to cover how to use Terraform private remote modules with Azure DevOps repo to build your modular and scalable infrastructure, right? We started by storing Terraform modules in the private repo, referencing them in the root module, setting up authentication, SSH authentication, and then also automating deployment with Azure DevOps pipeline. So if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share with your network, right? Don't forget to subscribe to DevOps with Dummy for more videos like this. Thank you, and then see you in the next video. Bye.